What's going on, YouTube? How's all the beautiful people? Well, look at here. GTH, oh my bad, 2654 Husqvarna. Cosmetically in great shape. Picked it up for free. I believe this is an 04 model, but we had a hole in the tank, or a crack. I've attempted to seal it for now. We'll see how that holds up. I may have to go back with some JB weld or something more appropriate. That is seals all. It's the only thing I've got on hand that is gasoline resistant, so we'll see. Rear tires were holding there. Front tires I had to air up. 54-inch deck. It's got a 26 horse Briggs. Pulled the carburetor, didn't even try to start it, but you can see by the amount of oil, and I'm guessing the sump is leaking. So I decided, well, we'll go ahead and open it up and we will check the valves while the carburetor's taking a bath. And I had a bent push rod down here. As you can see, well, maybe you can, maybe you can't, but the valve guide has worked itself out. So I'm going to remove the spark plug, fill the cylinder with rope, push it up against the valve, pull this off, and I'm going to drive that valve guide back in as long as it's free and go from there. I'll get you set up. Okay, I got you set up here. I've got rope in there, and I've got the piston brought back up against the rope as to prevent, hopefully anyways, prevent. What I'm going to have to do first is I'm going to get some PB Blaster. I'm going to squirt it on this valve guide. I've got to get myself enough room so that I can get those keepers off. So, let's see, got a 5/8. Now let me go with I got a 10mm hanging out right here. Let me try to, I don't want to bend the keeper. Yeah, it's right up against it. That guide is all the way out. So, all right, let me get a hammer. Hang on, I didn't plan for this. Alrighty, I got a little PB Blaster here. I got my 10mm socket, and I got my little pecker. I'm just gonna get myself a little room. I don't want to beat on that keeper a whole lot. I think I've got plenty of room there. I know there's going to be those of you that are upset that I beat on it, but life goes on. Well, the idea now, well, that valve's going in. I wonder how far. And I'm going all the way up against the guide there. Now let me back this up and try to get some more rope in there. I just don't want to lose the valve and have to pull the head off. My rope might be just a little bit on the large side, but I've used it plenty of times. Let's see what we get there. And it goes in a little bit, but not much, so we'll roll with that. What you want to do here is just, see, there's one keeper. Be careful, because these sons of guns will run to the moon if you let them. There we go. Okay. I got those. Now the plan, and the same 10mm socket may do the trick. Now I'm going to go smaller. What's that? 8. Right here. You just want to make sure you got plenty of room, because I want to drive that thing I'm gonna make it look like the top one here. The other thing that's somewhat upsetting is the seal appears to be gone. No, it looks just like the other side. Alright, here we go. We're gonna drive this thing back in. And I have to assume that the one on this side is good, and I've got roughly 1/4 of an inch. When it comes to shit like this, you really don't want to go off roughly, but I'm going to leave it there. And I'm going to reassemble. No telling how long it was ran this way. A lot of people are just that way. They're kind of ignorant when it comes to mechanical repairs or what might be wrong. And what I'm looking for here is to make sure that my intake push rod is not bent, and it appears to be fine. So now be careful doing this, because your keepers, just like taking it apart, they will say sayonara if you're not careful. There we go. Okay. Now let's back it up, and I'm not sure what would have caused that to work itself out, but it did nonetheless. I would have thought maybe some heat, but the cooling pins are all clean, but ain't no telling. So let me pull the rope out. Now, I'm going to pause you guys. I'll reinstall the rocker arm. I got to straighten the push rod yet, but I'll get all that lined out and I'll bring it back. Alrighty, people. Well, it wasn't without some doing, but I have it topped off with oil because it was on the ad mark. I have a fuel hose hooked up, strapped to my dolly for fuel supply, because the tank has got all kinds of shit in it. So I expect that fuel pump to put out some nasty crap whenever it starts, if it starts. We got a little bit of an issue. I'm afraid the camshaft is wore out. I don't know if he run low on oil, didn't change it enough or what, but the intake valves are not moving that much. Last is set good, 4 to 6 on intake, 5 to 7 on exhaust. I went with 5 on the intake and 6 on the exhaust. I had to do some wiring because the mice had chewed it up and it wouldn't crank from the key, but I got that sorted out. I do have fuel in the line. I'm going to choke it. Let me get some of those tools off here, because they'll be going everywhere. I'm not real hopeful. Well, I'm hopeful, but I'm not real optimistic that it's going to start for us because of those camshafts. I know I've got compression, so maybe we're okay. I had a smaller jump back on it, and it wasn't enough to get it to turn over. So I know if it's building compression, then it's obviously intaking air. So let's see what happens. Cross the fingers. sign of life. I do know that it's going to start leaking. It's got to be the sump gasket. So, but now that I know that it runs, I will go back in and seal up the valve covers if they start leaking. And I want to put some time on it and pressure wash it, see where it's leaking. That way I can attack it from the right angle. But that is the first start in about 7 years. So there you go. Obviously this won't be one that I fix up to sell. Not with those intake valves. I'm fairly certain that cam has got to be in rough shape. There's no power to the hour meter currently because mice have chewed it up, but I will get that hooked up and we will see how many hours are actually on this mower. So anyways, there you go. That's the first start in 7 years. Bent push rod. Don't know why the valve guide worked its way out. Could have been heat. There's I guess there's a few different reasons why that could have happened, but I did clean the carburetor. It was super terrible. The gas had that odor of, I used to be deck stain. Now I'm just dried up. But anyways, you can see by the color of what's hanging out of the fuel hose there that yeah, it's definitely deck stain. So all right, people, please like and sub. There will be more on this mower. You can see where it slung oil out from whatever had puddled up in that drive pulley underneath the engine. So the next step's going to be I want to get some more run time on it. Obviously put the shroud stuff back on it since I know the engine, all the cooling fins are clean. But this thing needs a serious bath. There's no way to spot an oil leak like this. So anyhow, like and sub, you beautiful people. We'll catch you on the next one.